start a
This
recording.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, if you don't hear this sound, okay, please remind me. So the session should be recorded. I'll share all the recording sessions at the end of the session, means after the session completes today's within half an hour or 1 hour time period. Okay, and I don't have Roja's, Sai's and Shanti's email IDs. Can you just text on the chat window so that I'll take a note of it, and then I can send you the recording sessions. And we'll be having the same link would be followed for all of our sessions. The link is not going to change. Okay, and the timing is going to be same, like 7:30 every day. Please be on time, and we'll be getting an assignments, case study assignments, and some projects to work on from the day one itself. When I say start looking at the dash to the tool, from the day one onward, start looking at it. Okay, so that you don't pile up your work in the later sessions, because once you start, if you don't start working on from the day one itself, okay, you'll lose a lot of uh, content. You may not be able to understand some things, okay, unless until you don't practice it. Okay, when I'm teaching it, it may look very easy for you guys, okay, but when you don't make your hands dirty, okay, by practicing it, you may not be able to get few things. Okay, you may not know what is the error you're facing. Okay, and don't fear for the errors. The more the errors you make, the more the mistakes you make, the more you learn. Okay, never fear about, okay, in technology, never fear about you're making an error. Okay, put it onto the tool, whatever you are doing it, try to test it. Okay, so what is happening if I do this, what will happen? You should have that inquisitive. Okay, or if I do this, okay, what, something might happen. No, let it happen, nothing is going to go wrong. Okay, you need not fear about it. You should know, right, what is going to happen means. Okay, so that inquisitive should have it. Okay, so like how a small kids, if they see some toys, they start opening it and all those things. Same thing, if you now open a Power BI tool, you should start playing with it like anything. Okay, if I click on this, what will happen? Then only you will learn the tool. If I do something like this, what will happen? Then only you learn anything. Any tool it is. Okay, any tool or any language. Okay, if I write some code like this, what will happen? If you learn, if you do something like that, then only you will learn. Okay, so never fear about mistakes or errors. Let the errors come up. Let the errors pop up. Read about that errors. What are these errors? Okay, so that in future you should not make that errors. That's the point. Okay, so let's start my share my screen and let me take you to. So here everyone is new to business intelligence space. Let's start with a very basics thing, and let's everyone follow this slide. Okay, please feel free to ask your questions. Do not hesitate. Okay, I'm there here to make you understand any number of times. Okay, no question is silly questions. Okay, don't think other what others may think. Let them think. Okay, so what do you all know about business intelligence? I'm not talking about Power BI or anything. What do you know about business intelligence? What do you call business intelligence is? And feel free to talk. When I ask a question, please answer it. Right or wrong, doesn't matter. I'm not going to judge anyone. What is business intelligence? Anyone? Shanti, Mehboob, Roja, Sai.
The business analysis and hello,
Uh-huh. Yeah. You can go ahead.
we can store the data or business data, different types of data.
Okay. Means what? If I show a data, what is going to happen? I can show a data in Excel also, right? I can show
Okay.
so much of data in so many different ways. I mean, showing a data means what?
Set of technology. You can design the system. You should to design, analyze the business.
Yes, analyze. Yes, that's the right word you used.
Yeah.
So business intelligence is all about your knowledge.
Yeah.
Knowledge about the business. It can be any business. Suppose you run a boutique, right? So you have a lot of apparels, right? A lot of different designs, a lot of different colors, right? So
Yeah.
you run a boutique. So at the end of the month, you would want to know, okay, how many different types of apparels I have sold, okay, how many gagras, okay, how many jeans, or how many, whatever it is, okay, I don't know all of those names, but at the end of the month, you should know, right, how many custom products I have sold, or how many salwar kutas I have sold, right? That knowledge you should have about your business, correct? End of every week, okay, how much profit I have made, how much sales I have done, right? If you are blindly bringing some goods and selling it, you don't know whether you're making a profit or making a loss, or which items you're selling more, which items you're selling less. If you don't have that knowledge, what's the point in running a business? Correct? You're just wasting your time. That's the same thing like business intelligence is all about. Business intelligence is nothing but a set of tools and techniques what is going to use, okay, to understand what is happening within my company. Okay, so companies are gathering data. Like suppose every time you make some transaction, let's suppose when I say transaction, when you go to a retail store, you pick the items, okay, you come down to the counter and you bill it, right? That is called a transaction. Or when you go to ATM, you withdraw your money, that is also a transaction. You deposit your money, that is also a transaction. You walk into a bank, that is also a transaction, right? You log into a Facebook, that is also a transaction. You post, you like, you tweet, right? You upload photos, those are also transactions. Those are also called transactions. Means those transactions in the sense these are all generating some data, right? Whatever you do on the web, okay, where the information is recorded, is generating some data. Okay, you call to someone, that's a call log. That's a data again. There is a call log which is generating, right? There is a dialed calls. If you see, there is a call log. Okay, whom all you call, you can see. So there's also a data. The end of the month, I can see how many calls I have made and how many number of minutes I have spoken to them. That is what you're making a intelligence about your calling history, right? You are making some knowledge about calling history. How many friends I have called, okay, to to which friend I have spoken more number of minutes, okay, and at what time I'm speaking regularly. If someone has to understand about you, okay, about your call history, okay, about you using your phone, it can be calls or it can be your games, okay. If they take your phone and they extract the data, they can understand complete about how you're using your phone. That's the knowledge they're building about you. It's called business intelligence. It's all about understanding the data what we have. Simple. Okay, so business intelligence is a set of theories, methodologies, architecture, and technologies that transform raw data into meaningful, useful information. Okay, forget about all of these terminologies. Okay, what we need to understand is I have been given a raw data to me. Okay, how should I make it meaningful and useful information? That's it. For what purpose? For a business purpose. Okay, it can be business purpose. It can be self-learning. Okay, let's suppose you want to learn something. What do you do? Let's suppose in colleges during time we buy a book, right? But if you don't read it, do we get a knowledge? And you go and keep it in almirah, you don't get a knowledge, right? The same thing. Business is all about something. I'm collecting lots and lots of data, but if I don't read it, means I don't analyze it by using some techniques or some tools or some methodologies. I'm not going to gain a knowledge about the data, about that company. The same case, if I just buy a book and keep it in Almara, I'm not going to do anything. Okay. So for that, we do processing, aggregations, and we visualize it. That is what all about business intelligence. Simple. Okay. So companies has data. That data I need to analyze it. Means what is happening for a company within a company. Okay. For a particular product. Let's suppose um, Rosa is working in Oracle, right, as a HR compliance, right? So there might be some compliance issues which has been rising every month, right, Roja? So now you need to analyze it. Okay, what are these? What are the issues I'm
Yes.
getting every month? Okay, what are the compliance issues I'm getting every day, right? And on what lines? On what lines these compliances are? Okay, how many number of compliance I'm getting? Okay, or why is it we are getting regular some compliance issues? Is it a proper demo not given to the employees, or the set guidelines is not set? Okay, whatever it is, I don't know what all compliance issues come up, but yes, you need to find out the root cause. That you'll get to know because when you log each and every compliance issue is being logged, right, into some system or in a notebook or in just an Excel file, right? You write down what is the issue. Okay, the issue has occurred where? Is it with some team members or within the company or with some partners? Is it outside the organization? Where this compliance issue is coming up? Why this is coming up? Right. So that all data also I can analyze it and create a nice Power BI dashboard. Right. So that's how it is. Okay. So why do I need to understand the data first? For setting up business goals. Simple. To achieve some goal. Okay. What goal? Any better decision. Okay. Let's suppose if I'm running a store, small, as I said, a small boutique store, what is my goal? That I should sell more and more apparels, right? More and more custom designs so that I earn more profit. That's my goal. That's it. And I would want to make my customers happy. That is my goal. The same case, every business has their goal, right? So we analyze this data so that we can take some better decisions. So BI is about using data to help enterprise users make better business decisions, right? If so, how can I take a decision? Let's suppose uh, my boutique is not running very well. Okay, why is it not running? I should know, right? First, cannot simply close and go it. Why is it not running? Is it because of my designs are not very good? Okay, or is it I'm pricing very high, right? Or is it my sales representatives who are behaving rudely with my customers? Why my customers are not happy? That I need to know. When I can know, when I collect this information. Okay, smaller stores, no one collects this information or no one analyzes it, but in larger stores, right? When a larger organization, people collect all of this information, right? So when I have the information with me and the information which is clean, neatly processed information, based on that information, based on the data what I have, I can take a better decision, better business decision. A decision can be a strategic decision, a tactical decision, an operational decision. Okay, operational decision, as I say, it is a day-to-day activities. When I say strategic decision or a tactical, okay, as a long-term strategies I'm planning. Okay, I'm planning to open a new store. That is my strategic decision. Okay, or I'm planning to launch a new product. That is my strategic decision. What are my operational decisions? That okay, I have to recruit a new employee. Okay, or I have to increase open my stores. Okay, I'll keep my store neat and clean. Okay, and arrange the goods properly. Okay, to run the business. Basically, operationals are what should I can do to run the business. Okay, so when can I take these decisions? When I have the information, right information. There is a lot of information. Company has a lot of information, but or not all the information is useful. I should have right information, the right format, and the right time. Means, see, if I have to take a decision today, from then onwards, I cannot start building the report, okay, or cleaning the data and putting the data in the right format, right? Because I have to take a decision today. It cannot happen within hours. Right? If I take a decision means it should be there today, so that we prepare our data well in advance, so that tomorrow or future, if I had to take some decision, I'll immediately go and see the report and take my decision. Okay, something is going wrong here. Okay, I had to step into it and take some decision. Okay, so the reason all of these three are important: right information, right time, right format. If I don't present in a right format, okay, how can I understand that data? I will simply just give it in a form of an Excel file, okay, where I don't analyze it, I don't clean my data, I don't visualize this data. Okay, I cannot make any decision about that. Okay, for this we use some BI tools, okay, where I can give a right information in the right format and the right time, so that company can take better decisions. This is all about BI. Clear? This is what is business intelligence. It's not about a particular tool. Okay, BI is not about a particular tool. Okay, why? That's the reason we call it as business intelligence, right? Business knowledge. It is. You're just gaining knowledge about that business. Okay, so it's not about just okay. So for you guys, so if you would want to be stronger in business intelligence, I'm not talking about any tool, not Power BI, not Tableau, not anything. Okay, as a whole, if you want to be stronger in business intelligence, means you need to gain functional knowledge also. Means about the business. Okay, means let's suppose you would want to be stronger in your boutique business. Means you need to know more about your boutiques, right? That more new designs you need to launch, or you need to be aware of what are the new trends in the market. Okay, what sort of colors people are preferring. Okay, what sort of designs, what sort of cuts. Okay, so many things will be there, right? So all of those things you need to be aware of it, so that you can run your business perfect. Okay, like that you need to understand whatever business you enter into it, or whatever company you enter into it, whatever project you're going to understand that functionality first, rather than building a tool immediately reporting a report tool. Understand the functionality first. Let's suppose, okay, now you got a project to uh, mm, um, create some banking report. Okay, some banks. Now you need to know what how a bank operates. First, understand how a bank operates. Okay, that no one can teach you. You know, do self-learning, self-observation, self-learning. Okay, let's suppose you applied for a loan to a bank. What all happens it behind? Right? They collect your documents, they process the documents. When they process the documents, what are they trying to do? Okay, they check. Okay, what is your salary? Okay, what are your current loans do you have? Okay, so they take a fixed okay, what are your expenses for every month? Okay, how much you're saving? Okay, how much loan I can give, so that you can repay the bank again. That is called credit worthiness. They try to calculate the behind. Okay, then they multiple steps will be there where they process it. Okay, multiple levels they'll be moving it. From there onwards, that's where they will decide, okay, whether this person, okay, is worth giving some 5 lakhs loan or 10 lakhs loan. That's they call it eligibility, right? Same like credit card, same like opening a bank account itself. Okay, when you open a bank account, okay, so they collect all informations and a swipe. So they again maintain like debit credit. So you need to understand what is a debit credit. Okay, end of the month, everything, both the sides, they balance it when you see your statement. How much you have deposited, how much you have withdrawn. Another month, it boils down to the what is your deposit and what is your expenditure. Right. So that's what. So every business, okay, let's suppose now you go to you work for Amazon, Amazon's project. Amazon also uses a lot of BA tools to understand the data, right? You need to know, okay, how these orders, a lot of orders are generated, a lot of transactions are generated. You analyze it. Okay, every business. The first thing is understand the business first. Okay, not in depth at least. Okay, that takes a lot of time. Okay, but try to focus on it. Okay, try to focus on it. Just not learning a tool. Okay, so during this business intelligence process, what is all we are going to learn, or what is all we are going to see? Okay, as I said, business intelligence enables the business to make intelligent fact-based decisions. Okay, when I say fact-based, based on some data. Okay, now tomorrow you go to a manager and say that, sir, let's increase the price of product by 10 rupees. Your manager or your CEO will ask you, okay, how do you say that? On what lines, on what basis you're saying that go ahead and increase the product price by 10 rupees? Okay, then the product manager will go and present him. Okay, the project manager has to present, sir, this is what I have seen my trend with the data. So he'll go and he would have prepared a nice report. Okay, then he'll go and show it to the manager that, okay, they're based on the competitors, okay, or based on the costs. It can be competitor, or let's say competitor is selling for some 25 rupees and you are selling it for just 15 rupees till date. Okay, so there is a 10 rupees difference margin. Okay, that is one point. Maybe your cost you're increasing because the raw material cost has increased. Okay, and now your operational cost, raw material cost, everything is increased. Okay, you're getting lesser margin, lesser profit. Then also you plan to increase. Okay, so these all factors you need to understand it. That's how you need to present it to the management. Then they will think about whether to increase or decrease or whatever it is. It's called intelligent fact-based decisions. Okay, as all this is happening. Okay, so every transaction is recorded, as I said, right? You log into Facebook, it is recorded. You log into Amazon and you order something, that is recorded, your orders. So companies collect lots of data. That's called you aggregate data. Means you collect the data, you process it, you aggregate and store into some database called, okay, and that database where you build some data warehouse. Okay, like go down we say, right, to store the uh, food items or grains, or whatever it is. Go down, in godowns you don't only store grains, you store cement and everything. Okay, that's like how do you store goods in that. In a data warehouse you store your data, that's it, simple. Okay, data warehouse is nothing but where you store lots and lots of data, but in an organized format. Like in a go down, how do they organize each and every item? Okay, in a database also, database is nothing but warehouse set of tables which have columns and rows to store my data, right? So I'll be storing my data in my data warehouse in a proper format. Okay, which I can retrieve the data, means I can extract the data in future and analyze it. It is for easier for me to retrieve the data and analyze it. Okay, that's where we extract data. So we have lots and lots of databases. Okay, Oracle is one out of the database, SQL Server, MySQL, okay, Teradata, then what? Vertica, MongoDB, Cassandra, so many databases are there. Like in Hadoop Space, HBase, so many databases are there. Okay, each database has its own functionalities. Each database has its own way of storing the data. Okay, some database runs faster because of, okay, the backend engine. Okay, we are not bothered about what database is it. We are bothered about what data is stored in it and what format it is stored. Okay, For our work start from extracting the data from the databases, okay, visualizing it, putting in a proper format by using some reporting tools. Okay, tomorrow you are learning Power BI today. Tomorrow they may ask you to learn work on Tableau. We never know. Okay, so we extract the data from our databases. Okay, analyze it, put in a proper format like some visualizations, some visuals, so that we can understand it easily. Why do we put it into visuals? Because we can understand it easily, right? So I cannot do everything black and white, right? So it does not appeal to the customers, which does not appeal to other persons. So I bring in a proper format and put into some visual shapes, okay, to analyze the data, so that then we publish the report to the end user so that he go ahead and look into it. That's what I said. Product manager now will look into your report and analyze it. Okay, I'm increased, my costs are increased. Okay, and in the same lines, my profits also should increase. Means I have to increase the price of a product, or I have to decrease the cost of my product. Okay, the production cost I have to decrease. So what should I do to decrease my production cost? Maybe I have to reduce the manpower, I may to reduce the input cost, or increase the number of hours the companies should be running. Okay, something. So they will analyze it. Then that's what they take the decision. Once you analyze it, that's where the information decision. So decisions are fact-based and data-driven. This is what is an end-to-end process of your business intelligence. Okay, any doubts still here? Anyone would want to ask any questions? Ramesh, I think he's joined late.
Yeah, good to go actually. So, if I have any doubt, I'll ask you.
Okay, Ramesh, I didn't get you actually. Did you speak earlier? I don't know. I sent a mail to a lot of people.
Yes, yes. We were discussing earlier, but I never joined your class. This is the first time.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you. Anyone else has anything would want to ask? Shanti, Sai, Mehboob, Roja. Yeah, Mehboob. Anything you can ask anything. Okay, under the sky about business intelligence. Okay, don't feel that okay. No, only about these three slides you should talk. Okay, because this is a stepping stone. Today is our first session. Okay, clear your doubts. Okay, then only we can take it to the next level. Okay, so now as we are understanding data warehouse, so let me present architecture. Okay, for about a data warehouse. So what are we going to do? As I said, we are not going to work on a data warehouse, as I said, unless until it is absolutely needed or something. Okay, majorly we are not going. 99% of business intelligence, a reporting analyst, okay, a BA developer, or a Power BI developer, or a Tableau developer, or a Qlik developer. Okay, we don't work in a database directly. Okay, unless until it is some specific requirements where you would want to do something in terms of modifying the existing view or table, we do it. But majorly we don't work in a data warehouse. What is happening in a data warehouse? Let's understand this, because why do we need to understand this is tomorrow if some issue comes in your report. Okay, tomorrow there is, now let's suppose you created a dashboard. Okay, some visualization you created. Now you present it to your product managers. Okay, or your client. When I say client, he would be some, okay, he would be some product manager, he would be some strategic managers, an operational head, okay, a call center team leader, okay, or a CEO or a CFO. Those all people, those are your clients. Okay, so they know better about their data. Okay, what is happening in a day-to-day environment, what data, how many goods they sold, what, or how many number of calls they have made, how many number of transactions happened, they know about it. Okay, So they know what is happening with the data, okay, whether it's wrong data or right data. So if they point out there is a mistake in the data, okay, you need to see whether the data, there's a mistake in your report or there is a mistake in the database itself. Okay, for that we need to know what is happening within my database. So there's multiple source systems where the information is collected, right? Let's suppose you say when you do some banking transactions, like you withdraw money, right? There's a data which is collected behind, means your transaction history. So what amount you withdrawed, okay, what is your current amount, okay, after withdrawing, what is your balance amount, okay, if you withdrawn from ATM, from which ATM you withdrawn, from which place you have withdrawn, everything is recorded. Or if you go into a retail store, supermarket, right? So what all you bill when you do a billing, so they scan each and every item, right? They know that okay, how many number of what is your basket amount, what means what is the total amount you have spent, what all items you have bought, what quantity you have bought. Okay, at the end of the month they'll also know you, okay, how many times you have come to the store in the last 3 months or last 6 months, last 1 year, how many number of, okay, all of them is recorded, everything is recorded. You log into Facebook, the information is recorded. The data can come from multiple source systems. Okay, every organization has their own way of storing the data, okay, or recording the data. So they record the data. These are called your OLTP systems, online transaction processing system, with where the records, okay, anything what is happening is recorded. Okay, now from here, because the purpose of the source system is to record the transactions, from here I would want to move my data to a data warehouse where I can store my historical information. Means last 10 years of data, 20 years of data, I would want to store into my database. What purpose? Why do I want to store it? Because I want to retrieve it again. Means I would want to extract the data again and analyze it. That's the main purpose of storing the data. Okay. If not, why would companies have to spend so many crores to store the data itself? Okay, just not storing the data, storing the data in a right format, in a right way, so that okay, I can extract the data in a better manner, in a quicker, very quick. Let's suppose the manager asked me to give me last month data, means to extract the data itself it takes a month. Okay, if it takes a day, if not month, a day, also it's a waste of time. I need within seconds. If I run a SQL query, select query, it should run as fast, as quick as it possible, some 10 seconds, 5 seconds. For that, I had to design my data warehouse such a way that my select queries runs quicker. Okay, so when the data is collected from multiple source systems, and we extract and store it into a data warehouse by giving each of them our different subject areas. Means we segregate the data so that we don't maintain the redundancy of data. Because the same data is not maintained in multiple tables, or same data is not maintained in multiple columns. Okay, by reducing the redundancy of data, we store it so that tomorrow, by redundancy and separating the data into multiple subject areas, like I would want to store all my customers information to customer table, all my product information to product table, all my sales information to sales table, all my call center information into call center, okay, some call center table, okay, some agent table, and so many things, okay, call logs, all those things. Okay, so each of the data is separated, stored into different set of tables, and when I need all of this information again, like I would want to know what is my total sales of a product, let's suppose of a product XYZ, to a customer ABC. Means I'm again need all the three subject areas. One is sales information I need, a product information I need a customer information. So every table should have some relationship to each other. Okay, so that I can retrieve the data and present it. So once the data warehouse is built, okay, so we use some BA tools. It can be Qlik, It can be Power BI, it can be Tableau, okay, or simply R or simply SQL Server to retrieve the data from these databases. Okay, data warehouse is nothing but as database asset, right? Okay, and we try to visualize. That's what a data warehouse happens behind. Okay, so to work on a data warehouse, you have database developers to load the data from a source system to your data warehouse. Okay, where the ETL team would be there, where do the extract, transformation, and load. ETL. What are the ETL tools? Like Informatica, we have Talent, we have SSIS. Okay, a lot of ETL tools are there in the market. Again, based on the need, people try to use those ETL tools. Okay, so that I can extract data from multiple sources, combine it, transform it, as I said, transformation, splitting the data into multiple tables by reducing the redundancy of data and also maintaining the relationship with those tables. And load the data and maintain the data up to date for a future use. That's what it happens. So if an issue arises in your Power BI report, you have to trace back. Okay, my report is good. There is no issue in my report. Okay, then there is a issue in data warehouse. Okay, these tables in this table my data is correct. Means what is there in my table I have in my report. Okay, so in a table the data is wrong. Okay, why in the table the data is wrong? Maybe due to data load, where they would have done some mistake. Okay, now everyone says that no, this is not my mistake, and ETL also says this is not my mistake. Then there is an issue in source systems. Okay, it can be transaction while billing, he would have made some mistake. Okay, for 10 rupees you would have made punched in 1,000 rupees. Okay, customer would paid it or customer would not paid it, whatever it is, right? Or the system, the JavaScript or whatever source systems are. Okay, so they would have some mistakes where mapping it is to different product. The product code was not correct. Okay, so each and everything has to be traced back. Yeah, not every team will start involving into it to finding out the issues. Yeah, you are not the only one person who would be working on all the systems. Each team will take the responsibility to understand where is the issue. That's the reason. So there's a back end. So for your learning career, okay, not only learning this tool, you also integrate yourself behind. You need to build some knowledge behind also. That's called backward integration and front end also. Okay, let's suppose you are at this page where you present the data. Okay, front is business knowledge. You need to build some business knowledge. Back is you need to build some systems knowledge. Okay, you can choose your path, which side you would want to go. If you're a functional guy, you choose towards this. You're a technical guy, you can choose towards this. Yeah, if you want to learn both, it's well and good. Superb. A lot of demand in the market for them, for those persons who would want to, who has that functional knowledge, who has technical knowledge. Okay. So when I was talking about, so I said your source systems are your OLTP systems. Okay, and these are called OLAP systems. OLAPs where online analytical processing systems and online transaction processing systems. Okay, so in a transaction processing, my objective here is to record as many transactions as quickly as possible, right? So let's suppose you go into a retail store and stand in the queue. What they would want, they would want you to do the billing and send you address as many customers as possible within a short period of time, right? They don't want to keep in queue. So the objective of them is to record many transactions. Okay, but the objective of your analytical processing is that I would want to store as much information as I can in the right format so that I can retrieve it in future. That's why the reason. Okay, so we would want this system to be very fast. Okay, I'm not going each and every point. There's a major objective about them. Okay, so doing that process from the operational environment, okay, so the ETL team will be there where they split up the data into multiple data marts, okay, like each tables. When I say data marts, each tables, collection of tables. Data mart is a nothing but collection of tables with some business logics or some operational need. Okay, we collect the data and process it and store it so that tomorrow I do some data mining or analytics and take some decision making. So it's a cycling process. It's all about cycling process. Every day there is a new data comes up. Every day I need to do some transformations, some new transformations and store the data so that tomorrow I am go ahead and extract the data and build a report. Okay. So as I was saying, my data is split up into multiple tables. Okay, and I have to retrieve the data in a data much faster so that what they do is they build in form of a dimension tables and a fact tables, or a master data and a transactional data. Okay, now here we have two terminologies, dimensions and facts. What are these? Let's understand this. What is a dimension or fact? Okay, as I said, tables are of multiple types. So first we have a database, okay, which is also a data warehouse where you have data from multiple source systems. Data is come and collected, converted into some tables. Okay, tables are of two types, dimensions and facts. So dimensions are what? All your master data, means the data which will describe, okay, which will describe something about, okay, let's suppose I say sales of 1 lakh. Okay, is it describing you something? No, right? It's just saying that I'm at a sales of some 1 lakh. Okay, how do I split this? Okay, sales of 1 lakh sold to customer ABC of a product. Okay, let's suppose laptop. Okay, to make it much clearer, I'm just giving a product name. Now I can describe it that I have made a 1 lakh sales to a customer ABC of a product laptop. So I sold laptop to a customer ABC for a price of 1 lakh. Okay, now this data we split it up into dimensions and facts. So what is describing your product, describing your sales? That these are my description, these are my dimensions. Customer is my dimension, which is describing about my sales. Product is my dimension. Okay, which is describing about my sales. What is sales then? Sales is a fact or a measure, right? Or a unit, okay, an amount where a transaction occurred. So each and every transaction is recorded. Okay, so we maintain customer table because I can store all my customer informations. One customer can have multiple transactions, right? So this is a customer table. So what all information I can maintain a customer, right? Each customer I would want to uniquely identify. So I'll have a customer key, some unique key, some alphanumerical or just a numerical key, some unique key, so that I can identify, okay, he is Ravi, okay, or he is Shruti, or he is Mehboob. I can identify uniquely. Like every employee is given some employee, right? In a company, I need to identify each employee. So there's an employee number given to you. Okay. Within that customer table, I have customer name, his billing address, his shipping address, all about his details, his credit card information, all the information will be stored. right? And the same thing like a product table also. Every product I need to be uniquely identify it, and I need to have product name, from which brand, which color, all those things, size, okay, content and all those things. But all of this information, now a customer comes into a store and we are selling to something means, okay, we need to record the transaction, right? For that we maintain a fact table where I can, so I have my particular order which we are selling it. Say order number is generated, okay, so I have a order number which is again unique. Each order number is unique, but here I need to also address to which customer I'm selling. So I have a customer, see, I have a customer key here and I also have a customer key here. What is the difference between both of them? Anyone can tell me? So I have a product key here and I also have a product key here. Anyone? Shanti, Roja? Okay, as I said, I need to identify each customer uniquely, but I need to say that, okay, how many times each customer has come to my store, right? Let's suppose you go into retail store today, right? And you also go into retail store tomorrow. You also went to retail store yesterday also, but you are the same customer. But if I store has in my customer table, I said I don't store any duplicate information, unique information. This customer key is a unique. Okay, this is Ravi only. Ravi has some unique ID, RAVI jump 001 or something. Okay, or his phone number is unique. Okay, but how do I know that how many times I went into a store, to the same store, by seeing this key? This is called a primary key and a foreign key relationship. Okay, a primary key and a foreign key relationship is built. So here is a primary key. What is a primary key? Which can identify you as uniquely, a unique key. Okay, and this can never be null. This is a not null constraint. Okay, not null. So let's suppose we're trying to sometimes we try to fill some forms where they mark it asterisk, right? Okay, means it is mandatory, you have to fill it. Unless you need to fill it, you cannot proceed to next. Why? Because they kept a constraint of not null at the behind. Okay, that's a how they write in the code behind. Okay, that, and they also want to give you phone number so that they can use it as some key or some alphanumeric number generates based on that. Because as a primary key, it can never be blank and it can never be duplicates. So that I can know, okay, total how many number of customers I have in my company. Okay, I have some 1 lakh customers I have. Okay, so I have some 1,000 or 1 lakh customers I have. Okay, I suppose 1,000 customers, how many times they are coming to my store? I suppose I went today to a store, tomorrow I may go, or I went yesterday also. But both the transactions are different. To identify the transactions, I have a primary key, which is my order number or sales number. Okay, but to identify which customer has come twice or thrice or 4 times, so I should have a customer key here. So this customer key is a foreign key here. Okay, this is called FK, a foreign key. Okay, which this foreign key help you to relate it. Okay, so the number would be same. Like let's suppose if this is 101, here also they have a 101. Okay, to identify which customer. As said, this is unique. Here we'll store only the distinct data, unique data, but here we'll have duplicate because customer 101 has came to my store multiple times in a month. So if I count how many number of customer, okay, how many number of 101s are there here, means customer 101 who is Ravi has come down to a store 10 times in this month. And which is his biggest transaction? Okay, I can see that quantity is sold. or total dollars based on his order runners. That's what a relationship between the tables is. It's all designed. So all of these relationships are designed. So you don't design any of these things. You don't need to worry about. But we build a data model in Power BI. We'll also be learning that. Okay. But all of these things are designed using ETL tool. Okay, in a data warehouse. Get it? That's what is this all about, dimension tables and a fact tables. Any questions? Anyone want to ask something? I'll stop here for today. Anyone want to ask anything? You're getting it? So I don't hear you still. I don't know where is the issue. Guys, anyone? Any questions?
So what kind of reports we can take, like it will be useful for the client, Ravi?
What kind of reports? A report can be anything. Okay.
Yeah,
It's, let's suppose. So what are you working right now? Tell me. Then I'll explain in your lines only.
yeah, I'm working as a production support analyst.
Production support analyst. What sort of
Yeah,
production support you do? Yeah, means
like
I just trying to relate it to
see.
you. I
No,
can
no, yeah,
answer
I
in.
got your point. Like we'll take a lot of reports, like annual statement, and we used to take quarterly statements, and we'll take the summary of the particular customer and what are the transaction they have done it for the particular period, like from date and to date, if we pass it to that. And most of the things, like, but so that is usual. We'll do that report kind of a things, like we'll trigger a task for that, and then corresponding the job will be done through the task, and then the report will be generated.
Generate.
Once done, like, yeah, once done, like, it will be useful, like the client can be able to view it. So this is usual one, actually. So I want, like, what kind of a like, I got your point, like a lot of dimension wise, like some lot of things are there, actually, like only the sorting out the data is very, very important. I got your point, actually, that from warehouse, if you have any duplicates over there, then you'll not get the proper data in the report. That's, I got it, actually. But uh, the sorting, like warehouse, we will do that warehouse sorting of kind of things, or we never touch that. We will not
We
touch
never
that
touch this.
particular.
A BA developer would
Okay.
never
Oh,
touch a data warehouse.
okay. So who will do that, actually, particularly
There will be
the
particular
data?
database developers will be there separate.
Okay, developers. Okay.
Database developers. Okay. We are also called a BA developers, where
Okay.
BA developer work is to get the data from the database, the
Yeah,
existing
got your
data,
point.
and
Yeah.
analyze it.
So use this tool, I have to develop the what kind of reports are required, like we have to produce to them, right?
Yes, we have to produce to them.
Okay.
Okay.
So what
So
kind
what
of
sort
a
of
report
report you
we
need to
can?
produce? Yes, that's again a requirement would be generated. Okay, you don't
Yeah.
just work it on the fly that, okay, I have my database, I have an access to a database, I'll go and build a report. It does not work like that. Okay, now let's suppose you're working for some client. Okay, now the client has some presentation of the client on a regular basis. Okay, they would want to understand profit margins for a particular product.
Okay. For a
Okay,
year, right?
or
You year
per
or
a
a
year,
day
per
or
a month,
weekly?
quarterly wise. They would want all of them.
Okay.
Okay, they would want to break down. They'll also tell you, okay, I would want it to split it by monthly, quarterly, weekly, and by geographical regions, and by customer wise, and by product wise. Okay, so and so all of these attributes they will be asking you.
Okay.
Okay, not only profit margin. Okay, I would want to know what is my cost involved. Okay, what are my weekly sales, what are my monthly sales.
Okay.
All of this information I would want to know.
Okay.
Okay, so set of metrics was be designed well in advance. Okay, these are the metrics I would want to see in this dashboard. Can you please design a dashboard for me?
Okay. Okay.
Okay, if it is a call center business.
Okay.
Okay, so how many number of I would want to analyze. Let's suppose a call center manager has come to you guys that okay, so we have 100 agents who are taking up calls in and out. Okay, now I would want to analyze each and every call, or not each and every call, but how my operations are going on, how many number of calls we are handling it. Okay, how many
Okay.
number of calls are satisfied, or how many number of tickets I have closed, or how many tickets I have raised.
Okay.
Okay, how many tickets are priority tickets, which I can close within 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 24 hours.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
are the tickets let's suppose you go to a call center and they say that we'll resolve this issue in 24 hours. Okay, are they really able to stick on to the timelines? Right, how many targets we have missed?
Okay.
Right,
So
or which employee is able to take more number of calls or address more number of calls and is able to resolve the calls on the phone. Let's suppose if it is a broadband issue or something, sometimes they tell, right, let's investigate on the call, and they try to do some investigation like restarting a router or something. It can be
yeah,
anything, it can be a
yeah,
laptop, or they ask you to restart or something, and some investigation they do. Okay, are they able to solve those issues online itself? If not, they'll send some technicians, or they ask you to bring your laptop to a service center.
yeah, yes, correct. Yeah.
Right. All of these are reports.
Okay. Okay.
Wherever there is a data, there is a report.
Okay.
Okay. In fact, your
Yeah.
production system, okay, you are a production support, right? You can
Yeah.
go and build a report for that, right? How many production tickets have come up? How many number, or is there any downtime which you're facing? Okay, how many reports you are scheduling it? At what times you are scheduling it? What is the peak time? You can collect all of that information, build a report, build one consolidated report, so that you don't you don't need to look into all of those schedules and say, okay, this is going to fail, or this has failed so many times. Okay, how many times a certain task has been failed? So what is the root cause for that? What are the issues?
Okay.
Right, everything is a report.
So yeah. Okay. Yeah, I got it actually. So it depends on that, like the manager or some who's
Who
responsible.
is
So they have
right?
to
Yes,
work
who
on.
is
Yeah.
responsible for
So
it? They'll come back to you and they'll ask you for a report. Yes.
yeah. So they have to work on that and to come into up to the level. Okay, I got your points. And then like see, it's the projecting report, like we have a couple of reports, how efficient to the client, so that makes difference, right?
Yes, how efficient, how quickly they're able to view that report,
Yes, yes,
how best
yes.
they are able to analyze that report.
Performance, performance
Performance.
plus like the way the projecting the reports, like with different colorings and other stuff,
Coloring,
it's easy to
visualizations.
projecting, and yeah, yeah. So a lot of things are there actually, easy for them
Yes,
to
those all will be
differentiate
learning
it.
in further sessions. Yes, starting from how do you color it? Okay, starting from what sort of visualization you should use.
Yeah, yeah.
Everything would be covered in these sessions.
Okay. What is the difference? Like we have market, we have a lot of other tools as well. So why we need to go for this tool? Any like particular
So
advantages?
every tool has its own advantages and disadvantages. Why market has adopted Power BI to a very extent is because of its pricing constraint. Because pricing is very dead cheap. In fact, they get it at around $10 per user.
Really?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So no other tool
Okay.
is providing you at that cost. And we all know
Okay.
that we all are using Office 365, and it can be integrated it end to end.
Okay. Okay.
Right. Everyone is using Office, so starting from your Outlook, your Windows, your Excel, everything is Office only. Okay. Then why
Yeah.
should I not adopt Power BI, which is again from Microsoft Office? That is one of the thing.
Okay. Easy for them to like include it, right? Get the
Include
license.
it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. So thanks, guys. So we'll connect tomorrow same time, 7:30, same link. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Take care. Good day.